Okay, good morning traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. I'm your host Bruce. We'll go through live order flow in Bookmap All Markets so that we can read the order flow and understand the behavior of traders. And this is what all technical analysis is about. Order flow is at the heart of it. On all time frames, in my opinion, it's based off a very simple premise that the market is it needs orders to trade. Therefore, understanding the behavior of the participants using orders, which is what they have to use in order to participate, then we can understand like where price might go or what traders think about the market. And that gives us tremendous insight. Bookmap visualizes this order flow information in a unique way to give you this insight. All right. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in. We're looking at the S&P E-mini. Good morning, Alois. Let's see here. Good morning, Caesar. Spent some time this weekend in replay mode. Oh, excellent. Yeah, and in fact, reinforce how nice execution options are for futures and how trades and orders are shown on the chart. Yeah, it's great. That's great to hear, Caesar. Yeah, we'll take a look at NQ and the anchored VWAP as well. Have a new version coming out for that anchored VWAP. I don't have access to it yet, but we will have it soon, Alan, and it'll be great. So, you know, I'll cover it as soon as I get my hands on it. But we'll go over the current version that we have as well. Yeah. So. Let's see here. Let's just jump in and let's start to go through what we see in the order flow right now, and then we'll go through our whole process. This is typically our we want to jump in immediately and just check out and see what's going on here. So some nice action in here, beautiful action. Look at the back and forth in here. Look at the sellers come in, red dots hitting at the low here, but a lot of sellers into high liquidity here, through it into high liquidity down below here at 53.30, and then back and forth in here, cash open, one more move to the downside into high liquidity here, and then a beautiful move to the upside, and it is still playing out. Look at the bid here. Okay, look at the buyers in here. This is the context, and we're just going to go through it quickly and then answer any questions. So context is clearly our market structure since the open is an uptrend, clearly. Look at the buyers. They are dominating. Look at the order book. They are on the bid at higher levels in here and in here. We're still finding buyers. We're still looking for this to come up into 45. Maybe we can get it up into 50 here, the figure. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're still looking for here. If we can just, let's see if we can get a little more buying pressure to go through right where the sellers came in and dropped it here. We should. The bid is strong. We're still finding some buyers. Okay, so we're looking for that trade up into 45. Now, I'm not going to take a position on it right now. Maybe if we can get a pullback, we could. But right now, I don't see the commitment of the buyers at the moment. I don't see the order book right underneath it. I want to see that. And we might get that right now, actually. Here we go. And let's see this move into 45 and maybe 46 as well. Okay. Now, what about the condition of the buyers at the highs up here? Well, the strong buying is in here, clearly. Up in here, there's still some more buying. So, you know, we're still going with buy side due to the context of the buyers up here at the swing high. We have the high liquidity here at 45 and 46. So we're still looking for buyers to move up into those areas. Now we may get a little shuffle or back and forth in here due to what? Sellers in here dropping it. Okay, back down to this swing here, this area of liquidity. That is exactly where we traded to, and can mark that up right here. Okay, but yeah, we're still looking for buyers to trade up into this area here. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I'll have to remind myself, Alan, to look at that VWAP. But let's go take a step back, look at go over our bigger picture. And we're going to go through this, I think, rather quickly. I don't want to belabor it too much. But our PDF here that's over in the room on Discord that we have, very, very simple day trading preparation plan. It's a framework for you guys if you're interested. I had mentioned this in the past, gone over it many times, over years and years and years, and just trying to boil it down and keep it simple. Fundamentals, bigger picture, economic calendar, what's on the calendar. We know that news drives the markets, and geopolitical environment as well. Understand what's going on out there. Yeah, right now, I mean, like we have data later in the week, FOMC meeting minutes. We have NVIDIA earnings release. So that's going to be huge. And it's a bellwether. God, yeah, really important for the market. Anyway, we're going to look at, we don't see much today. And then there's later in the week, there's some other fundamental data. Bigger picture technicals. Let's look at the candlestick charts on the higher time frames. Again, it is order flow. Don't get me wrong. But we still want to understand the relationship in the price structure. Since we don't have really volume on those higher time frames, nor do we have the order book on those higher time frames, the only thing we can do is access the price action, really. And we'll just kind of extrapolate that into our smaller time frame, lower time frame in Bookmap. Understand previous swings, previous day, extended trading hours, the highs and the lows, etc., gaps, inside outside days. We'll take a look at that and then start to develop our outlook. So let's jump over. We just kind of went through the fundamentals and let's go through the higher time frame stuff. Daily chart here on the left hand side with the S&P E-mini, and you can see yeah, we're off to a good start here. You see the buying coming in, so why not up into this 46.50 high, swing high from that was Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday the 16th. And here's hourly, beautiful hourly that we're looking at. So here's the pullback, several hours of a pullback last week, and then this morning, well, here we go. Here come the buyers in with some strength. Okay, so we're looking back up to the swing, that 46, 47 area, 48, something like that. 15-minute chart on the right. Well, here's the pivot right here. Okay, this is where buyers took control of the market, and this is the 3 p.m. Sorry, let's take a look at this here. So here's our 10 o'clock. Yeah, here's our 9:30 right here. All right, so we opened up above all of this action in here. The squeeze is on, and we busted right through this level and busted through this level up here, this 41 or 42 area. And you can see we're starting to slow down a little bit though. Still though, buyers are still in control. So looking for this 40, we have much better insight here on the 15-minute chart, 47, as well as 49.50 up here is what we're looking for. So we're sticking with the plan until we see something different. right? That's our higher time frames and gaps and other things that we're looking at here. So gap filled immediately, or I'm sorry, it looks like it didn't fill quite immediately here. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of basically done. And we see the buyers take it to the upside here. All right, so let's start to develop some outlooks for the day. Okay, what are we looking for? Well, and develop scenarios. Well, due to our higher time frame, we're still looking for continuation. Okay, so we're looking for still pullbacks, but at these highs, we want to start to look at and understand the buyers and the order flow, the limit sell orders up at those highs, and the transactions that take place up there. So then we can start to consider strategies that we want to use. Are we just looking for pullbacks? Maybe some pretty big pullbacks at this time, but we're still looking for a continuation move, all right, to the upside. And then we're looking at our order flow and start to go through the criteria we're looking for in our strategies, and then we'll go through the trade management criteria as well. Okay, so this is why we were looking for, and this is kind of exactly what we were just talking about. We're still bullish. We're still looking for the move up into 45, 46 here, and we were looking for it to happen right here and now. But due to the buyers up in here, it just had kind of subsided, and a little bit more actually on the second leg here. But we got a pretty steep pullback, and we're coming back up again, and we're still looking for it. But this is very, very typical in the order flow or the price structure. Just can't find the buyers up at the high here. We get a pullback, then we get our buyers. Okay, so same thing here right now. We're looking for maybe a bit of a pullback, and you can see it's a very small range in here, very tight, like 1 point or 2 point range in here. Yeah, looking for a bit of a pullback, and then a buyers to reattack up here to 46. Okay, 46, 47, 48, up to 50. And now we're starting to see more liquidity come in at 50 now too. Okay, all right, so not bad. Now we can start to also identify what these pullbacks might look like. Okay, start to here's a range here. Okay, here's another range here. Here's another one and a smaller one in here. So get a feel for how far the pullback might unfold. Let's kind of arrange these then. So maybe it's like this. Okay, it's already kind of done that. Maybe it's a bit bigger. Maybe it's like this. It would come all the way back down here and retest. Okay, well, what about one in the middle here, kind of a Goldilocks? So maybe back down into, like, somewhere around here, 43, or yeah, 42.5 or so. Just getting a feel for the price action and the transactions in these areas. Now, this was a big transaction, but into high liquidity. So anyway, we can start to understand that maybe then this is our zone we're kind of looking for in here, for that pullback. All right, and then we're going to look for something to support that move. Okay, so let's put a trend line in here, a couple of trend lines, and start to understand the price structure unfolding right now. All right, and what we're looking for. Yeah, and not much happening here at the moment. A very small selling, low selling here, but yeah, still just nothing convincing yet. Looking for a better pullback here, maybe for the move to continue. All right, let me see if there's any questions over in YouTube. Yeah, we didn't go over our outside or extended range, nor did we go over outside day. It is outside previous days price action, so that's another good or the transactions are taking place outside of all the price action from Friday. Right. So again, we've seen these moves so many times. We know that we're exploring. So we're looking for more buyers still. All right. Interesting move in here. So our small range in here is what it did. That was the pullback. Okay? And we could see it in here that once we start to get the buying up here, this is a nice bit of buying in here. We might get that move up into 46 and further. But anyway, so this is something we haven't really shown, but we've talked about many times about the different ranges and what our expectations are in pullbacks. And no questions over in YouTube. Okay, problem. And let's go over something here. Yeah, I wanted to show Rob from the Bookmap Academy in here. Just had posted this in the room, so I wanted to cover it here. And you know, he's been really kind of turning the corner here. He's using the this Bookmap, very simple setups add-on here, and a setups checklist, that's what it's called. And just you can add your own in here, which he's done and which he has graded here. And he's putting these pieces together to see if he has an opportunity. He's got his own trade called the fake out, and this is his criteria that he's looking for in here. And for the fake out, and I guess this would be the fake out down here, and the move up, which Rob, this probably serve you really well and be at the opening drives. That might be your setup. This is very typical. You get the opening drive. Well, an opposite move happens after just the open, which is pretty typical, and the rubber band snaps pretty hard the other way typically. So yeah, wow, even scaling in here, scaled out a little bit up here, and then scaled out a little bit up here and nailed it, scaled out up here. Fantastic. Scaled in one more time in here. So this is your break even, I can see in here. Fantastic. Putting on risk where you think it's going to work, and yeah, great work, great job. So taking some risk off when you see that it might not be working, and working this basically based off of these three elements of order flow, transactions, price structure, and then front running some of that high liquidity up in here, moving your stop, or moving your take profit up to get more out of it, and nice move. Okay, so I want to mention a couple other things, maybe a couple tweaks to this that you might find helpful. It's up to you, but like the most important part right now, especially in this, as you're kind of building your strategy, is you want to build confidence in that strategy. So continue doing what you're doing, and don't mess with it. Here's our pullback, guys. This is what we're looking for, and we'll see. This is actually, we might get a reversal at this point, but we'll see. But like this is the pullback at this time. What I wanted to mention though is you start to combine some of these things together. On days like this, maybe you can hold longer. And the reason being, now this is something off in the future, but something just to kind of let it sit in the back of your mind. And like I said, just build confidence right now, and then progress, you know, in the future. So the concept is this. Start to mix it with like your daily in here, or your hourly, that you're outside of the all of the price action from the previous day. And if you see a lot of buy volume, it's usually a pretty strong move. It doesn't have to be, but it's usually a pretty strong move. And we do, on the higher time frame, we're still looking for it to trade up to the swing up here. And we're getting a bit of a pullback right now. But anyway, that might help you hold on to some of those trades, because a lot of times, I mean, they don't happen that often that you break outside. Well, I shouldn't say that. They do, but boy, is it nice when you grab it. And then when you start looking for those, they seem to happen less often when you're really looking for them. And when it gives it, though, take it, and maybe you can hold a little bit longer. But again, just consider it like in your subconscious later, and as a separate study. Okay, don't mess with what you're doing now, because you do not want to disrupt the confidence that you're building right now. Okay, because you know what you're looking for, and you'll get better at even the elements you're looking for in here will become clearer. But then once you've gotten that kind of nailed down, then you'll be looking at, well, maybe bigger picture, maybe holding for longer. And that could be, a game changer. You're welcome, Rob. Let's see here. Would you consider, Caesar, would you consider the absorption of sellers at the open, the liquidity right down below support? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and at a key level, Caesar, absolutely. Like this is another great move here. Key level, high liquidity, right into it. But we still don't know yet at this point, right? You might get just run over very, very quickly. But when do you know? Well, when we start to see those buyers come in, and here we still don't know. Look at that exhaustion up here. Okay. So basically, you're kind of looking for it above, this little swing up here before the open, and then this is starting to help a lot. Okay, now also check this out. See how they're pulling up here? They're pulling that liquidity here, so they're getting out of the way. What about the bid? Are they bidding up? Yeah, you can see it here, 27.5, and maybe in here as well. And then now you're getting all three. You're getting the pull. You're getting the volume, and then here's the order book skew again. Came in here, pulled, but then came back in here, and the reaction was buyers. Okay, so we're still looking for this to go higher, and then yeah, it's kind of a where do we get the so we're reading the context in here, and then we get the follow through. Now it does trade up into high liquidity up here. Okay. And we're trying to understand this context too. So at this point, I would look for a pullback. We don't always get it. Sometimes we just get massive buying that just runs this liquidity over. But yeah, you can see a little bit of a flip of the order book here from the offer to the bid. They're still bidding up. You get this pullback. That's about it. And then we just get the continuation move. All right, so anyway, nice trade, and just trying to read and understand the that context in here as well. Okay, of the transactions and liquidity. All right. All right, so what we're trying to read up in here is the same thing, like reading that pressure in here by the buyers. There's still more buyers. They're still coming in, and we're looking for that pullback. We're looking for it here. We got a very mild one, and then we got the bigger one here. In fact, we can adjust this trend line at this point. And that's the one that seems to be holding, and traders are reacting too. All right, so this is how we can start to understand the pullbacks and the trends, and we measured the price movement in here. Into high liquidity up here at our 46, pulled back, and then look at this volume in here compared to this volume over here. There's still more buyers. So we're still looking to trend higher here. It's just that these pullbacks are taking more, and at this time they're going deeper. Okay? And then this swing high here is equal or just shy of the previous swing, so that's not good. So maybe we're kind of turning into range bound here, but still we can go with the trend, looking for pullbacks into some of these areas in here, and then looking for those buyers to come back in. All right, Alan, you want to look at the NQ, and we'll look at the anchored VWAP here. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I got an anchored VWAP here that reset on the cash open. You can see the reset here, and then you know, the pretty bullish in here. I mean, we don't see any pullback to it at all at this point. Okay, a few sellers coming in, looking for them to drop it a little bit further. Sure, Alan, yeah, how to use this tool, or like, I don't know what you wanted to go over exactly, but we're looking for reactions and where you know, price moved and where potentially larger players are located. And this is the whole reason how to use it. Yeah. So here, for example, well, we see a reaction off this price level and this swing down here. Okay, so we know that there's a lot of buyers in here. Okay, now it's a bit of a stop run too, but I think we can safely put a VWAP, anchored VWAP down here off of, and I'll hover over the line here. I'll hover over the VWAP, and I'm going to right click here and create an anchored VWAP line right there. Okay, and the reason being is at this point here, we know that there was buyers. Now, the concept is that they can get some size on here, but they can't put all of their size on. Okay, so how do they add back into it? Okay, well, they got to find some sort of way. A very simple way would be to anchor their position here and buy back on pullbacks to their VWAP line. Okay, and you can see so far that's holding pretty well. Look at the buying off of there, and really nice buying off of this one here. So this VWAP is still valid, this anchored VWAP. Okay, now don't go crazy with this, because like boy, I think one of the requests we had was like we offered like 5 or 6 VWAPs, and then the request was to offer like 20 or unlimited. And also there are different lines in here. So for example, this is the new VWAP that we just created here. Actually, let's make it this blue color, and let's look at the bands in here. We're going to show standard deviations 1, 2, and 3. Not 31. Could be 31 if you wanted, but we'll look at 1, 2, and 3. And this is where I really want to just mention, please be careful with lines on a chart. This is where it's alluring to make decisions based off of these lines on the chart, and then we're not understanding the orders and the participants. Instead, we're looking at lines, and that's not good. But if we get something from the lines, then that's a good thing. Okay? So for example, let's just we'll keep the I'll get rid of the bands for just now. Okay. And we'll just keep this line here and keep it simple, right? So now you would also have, now this, if you use this as a confluence, I think this is a lot stronger. Okay, so opening drive, strong move, nice continuation pattern here, and then it's kind of going sideways, but it's still going up. All right, so that's good. And we know that here there was not much of a reaction off of this line. How can you justify that? Let's be real. We know that this is where the buyers came in, right here. And we can see that there's a reaction in there. It's not because of the line, it's because of this in here, right? So this is where I just be really careful about, your indicators. A lot of traders will make decisions off of their indicators, where I think we try to cover it as go with the order flow and understand that. And then if the lines match up as a confluence, great, then use it. Okay, this is a good area to buy on a pullback because this is where there was buyers previously. And we get a dip below. I mean, it's kind of a nice move, actually. A dip below this swing here into the buying here. And we also have a confluence of our anchored VWAP. And we do see a reaction off of it. Now, it's muted. It's not that good because it didn't even make it up to the swing here. And all this back and forth. Now, we get another move back down to this price level again. Okay, so I would say, to be honest, it's not anchored VWAP. It is this level here that is more important because of this buying in here. Okay, it is more of a range, and you can see that range. And we're at the bottom of that range. Now, at that bottom of the range, what else do we have? Well, look at the high liquidity down here. They're bidding up. Okay, that's a good sign. And now we're looking for our buyers in here. We're looking for maybe we even have a double bottom in here, and then now you have a nice confluence in here, as well as your anchored VWAP. So here we have sellers, buyers bring it back up to the swing, can't break it though. Sellers again, but look how much selling in here. Okay, look at the bar, look at the dots and bars over here compared to the dots and bars over here. So here we're starting to see like how now, I mean, we can look at precisely at that one and say, yeah, okay, well, it's almost equal, but right down here it's not, and that's important. And then I kind of extended it out maybe a little bit here, but here we have very little selling in here. Look at the selling in here. Okay, so due to that, let me get rid of these so you can see it a little bit better. This is a double bottom. Okay, so some selling here, not so much here. Buyers where? Above the swing, coming in. Okay, so this is where we're looking for buyers to take it back up first to some of these other swings, because in the bigger picture here, we've come back down into bigger swings here. So we want to see if we can get back up to, first off, this swing here, and secondly, this swing here. Okay, and then you can consider taking some off, or maybe that's your whole trade back up to the top of the range, and that's all you're looking for. Well, that's not bad. You know, you're getting about 10 points out of that, and maybe a little less. But what I'm trying to cover here is that, in my opinion, it is these orders in here, and this range in here is more important than the anchored VWAP. But we do have anchored VWAP as well, and we do see a reaction off of that anchored VWAP. So we will keep it, but we'll keep it as a confluence. All right, now, you know, that said, I'm no expert with anchored VWAP. Okay? I would encourage you to go watch the webinar by Robert Rother, who uses this daily, many times a day, and he's an institutional trader, has institutional background, and trades very successfully off anchored VWAP. Okay, so anyway, just that's the concept. But if you add some of these other confluences in here, or use it as a confluence, then you've got something a lot more powerful. I kind of like the POC better, Alan, just because like the POC is a very, very strong indicator. I don't, as you guys know, I don't really use POC either. But I do like understand the concept of it, and then to see if traders are reacting around that. So that's what's really important. So the POC, for example, would be up here, right? Most traded level around this 47, and look how there's buying back up above it. Okay, there's more buying pressure above it. So we're looking for a move above it. Here it is. It's just unfolding, and we're still looking for the move. Okay, high liquidity there. We'll probably get a pullback. Okay, and we can look at these trend lines. Work great for a pullback, and where we might find more buyers. Okay, less sellers, and away from the most traded level here. So price exploration above that area. Okay, so now this is a little trickier in the sense that especially NASDAQ reacts pretty severely typically off of high liquidity that gets filled here. So we're getting our pullback now, and we might get a bit more, and we might come back right back down to point of control here, or just, you know, where it can auction. We know that there's a lot of traders down here, a lot of action. This was a value area, and maybe this is outside. Well, it is outside of the value area. So sellers, we're looking for responsive sellers maybe to bring it back down into this area. Okay, so they're starting to. But yeah, mean reversion can mean a lot of things, Alan. Keep that in mind. I mean, it could be a moving average. It's some sort of average that it's coming back to is what's important. Okay, and I like the POC with that in mind. I mean, look at these trend lines, for example, as well. I mean, it's the same idea in a diagonal. Okay, so where is there a kind of it's the same idea also with some of these standard deviations or whatever it might be. It's outside of the average, and you look for fading it outside back into the average. Okay, in your VWAP. Okay, so here we can see, like, you know, reaction of traders to some of these areas in here in a diagonal. And you know what we're mentioning in here regarding this price structure and volume and transaction or liquidity. There's so many strategies that can be evolved from some of these ideas. There's just so many. Like, you know, it's but understanding the concepts in here in the order flow is the key, because then you can take it a lot further. This is actually why I wanted to, I'm glad I mentioned that. I just wanted to mention this to Rob, for example. Like, he's really starting to piece this together. And Slowdown, actually, I don't know if Slowdown is in here today or not. Let's take a look. No, I don't think so. But Slowdown has been putting these pieces together for a while. And you know, let me show you where to go, like, to maybe get started on this. Is go to the Bookmap, bookmap.com, click on education, and go to the Learning Center and go to the strategies and setups in here. The continuation pattern and a reversal pattern in here. Once you start to understand the order flow of, and this is in a diagram form, then you'll own it. Like, it's not just, we've covered this so many times, and you know, I knew it when I was creating this content. Like, I wanted to be very careful about calling it a flag pattern. It's continuation, it's momentum, and it's just a bit of a break in momentum and then a continuation, right? And it's called a flag, you know, whatever. But it's understanding the order flow within this pattern here is the key, because once you start to understand that, the variations are mind-boggling, and you'll still be able to piece it together. For example, you might get a low volume pullback here in this flag pattern, but let's suppose up here you didn't get a really big green dot, you got you know, a smaller one. Well, you can still get the pullback. You can still get here, let's just go through it. You can still get the low volume pullback. You can still get liquidity over here, but you might not get these buyers coming in like this. Okay, so we have less volume up here, and we don't have the big buying coming back in, but we have some bigger than the sellers here, but we do have maybe high liquidity at a higher level. So then, or let's suppose even we have that, as well as maybe this pullback went deeper. So we're just looking for a move back up to the swing, maybe just shy of it at that point. But we understand the whole concept of the impulse move and what it looks like at the tail end of the impulse move. We understand the pullback. We understand the liquidity in here. Therefore, we're not looking for, we're still going with the momentum here, but only to the top of the range. We don't know. Maybe we'll get more. Maybe a huge buying comes in and moves it, but we'll address it at that point. Okay, so you see what where I'm going with this, and you'll own it though. You'll own all of it, and you know, it warms my heart to see, like, Rob is just starting to kind of gather that as well, by understanding these three elements on the chart. And this is where, you know, you'll be able to, I mean, my God, you'll be able to trade whatever you want, really. But you'll be waiting though for your criteria. That is the key here. And like, he is using the setups checklist tool in here with his own customized criteria here that he's scoring as well, looking for something more likely to unfold, because he knows what he's looking for, right? And puts it together. He has his criteria, and then it's just execution. So really, really good job, Rob. And yeah, missing the, as I talk about that, we're missing our breakout here. Okay, so anyway, that's a pity. I would have loved to have been on that. All right, let me get back to any questions. So trying to better understand. Okay. Yeah, but understand what these things are, Alan. And look, you know, if you have data off of your POC and your VWAP or whatever it is, that's something completely different. You know, you've really studied the details, you know the data, whatever. You can attribute that to moon cycles, lunar cycles, whatever it is, you know, sunspots, whatever it is. But if you have data based on it, that's something different. It doesn't really matter if it sounds crazy. And you follow your plan and you're making money off of it, it really doesn't matter. It might be wrong, but until it proves you wrong and you manage the risk correctly, you're fine. You're good to go, right? But just understand what these things are, the question about the POC and VWAP, anchored VWAP, or whatever, are traders reacting to it? That's what we want to know. Are there orders around those specific areas? Now, it makes really good sense to me around the point of control that there is, because that's where a lot of other traders are as well. Okay, now the VWAP is a little more, it could be a little more challenging, but we do know that a lot of larger players are averaging their positions off of VWAP. Okay, just like we covered earlier on the anchored VWAP. You know, that anchored VWAP has been working pretty well, at least here. Again, though, is it anchored VWAP or is it based off of the buying that we saw over here, which is not anchored VWAP? All right, I'm not trying to debunk anyone's studies or anything like that, but just understand the order flow around these areas. That's all. It's really important. Okay, if you've got the order flow around it, and it confirms it, then you've got something. You've really got something. Let's see, DNT matter. You just brought something up. Liquidity area. Yep, exactly. You got it. So here DNT just brought this one up here in the S&P. Very nice charts. I really like the cleanliness, anyway, high transactions up in here. Pull back to it. You took a position there as well. Beautiful. Look at that. Okay, now you might have gotten run over, but you had your criteria here, right? Liquidity coming in, high level. So now that's just the risk that you take. No matter what we do, we're always taking risk, always. Okay, you can't avoid it, but you have criteria, something you've studied, and you look for the move to unfold. Okay, so yeah, beautiful stuff here. Pull back into large buy delta. You got your buy delta here, yeah, so now you're starting to integrate that as well, and you know that there's going to be buy delta because you can see it right here, right? These two big dots. Now nice clean and clear charts here. Okay, so you're looking for this is support, and then more buyers starting to come in. Anyone watching these, if this is all, these are Bookmap Academy guys, you might want to join over on Discord in our Bookmap Academy room. Let me show you just to cover it here quickly for you guys. Go to bookmap.com and then go to the more button here, and then under community, Bookmap Academy here. Okay, and you can read through it. You can sign up here. We have meetings every Thursday at 4 p.m. and we go over exactly what I was just kind of covering here, and give feedback, and we open the mic as well, okay, for the trader to explain. So they get good feedback. You know, they can explain themselves. Why were they taking trades? How do they manage that risk, etc. All right, Kenji, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Let's see, did I ever find a breakout CVD by lot size? I don't recall what you're talking about. Anyway, guys, look at this move here. So, you know, here's our breakout move, high liquidity here. We were looking for our pullback. We got a bit of a pullback here. Buyers came back in, big stop run up here, and now we're back in the middle of the range. Okay, Alan, I bet you're all over this, right? Looking for your kind of mean reversion trade back in here. Okay, so yeah, this would be probably maybe a good area to consider some profit, or you might hold for the other side of the range here. Okay, this is pretty good area here too. You got a low volume node here, and a lot of price action in here. So anyone stopped out up here, let's look for sellers to try to squeeze some longs down here. Way to go, Alan. Yeah, lunar. You guys are looking at lunar cycle data in here. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like, hey, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just look for the order flow to support it. Let me see if there's any questions on YouTube. Sorry, guys, I've been not avoiding you, but no, I don't use the Norden method, Gary Norden, but I can show you on YouTube. We have a nice, really nice collection. If you're interested in the playlist here on our YouTube channel, you'll see Gary Norden in here. Yeah, here it is, here. So go there, and then you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos, and he covers a lot of different really interesting things in here. Yeah, it's a pleasure listening to Gary and explain these things. He's got such wealth of experience trading in the life pits back, and he was right there during the evolution of the dome, and one of the first users of the dome. They were reaching out to him, so you might want to check that out. I'll put the list into the link here into the chat for you. Oh, thanks, Dan. You've been putting the Academy and Learning Center in there. Excellent. Does the cost of a contract have any indication of direction? For example, at the money put costs more than at the money call. Well, I mean, yeah, this is exactly insight from the auction. That there's some nervous bulls out there, and we're at highs, and puts are expensive. So what do you want to buy a put, or do you want to sell a put? I mean, yeah, there's a market for it. People rush in and start purchasing puts and drive up the price. So that's the insight it gives you. You might want to come to Options Millionaire on Thursday, I think. Let me show you a little bit more about that. Go to bookmap.com, okay, education, and that learning center here, and then scroll down a bit here. So here's Options Millionaire. It looks like he's on Wednesdays at 11 or 10:30. Yeah, he's on Wednesdays at 10:30 right here, 10:30 to 11:30. You might want to go to that one. We have another options trader. See all the orange in here? These are options traders. Okay, JTrader trades stocks and options. And then Doug's later today, 1:30 p.m. East Coast time. Highly recommend it. He's 3 times a week, and it's excellent stuff. So if you have questions about some of the options, this is where to go. Okay, so I haven't traded options in a while, but that's what it means to me, to answer your question. All right. And any other questions in here? Pro tip, close your eyes and draw 10 random lines on a chart and enjoy your mind being blown away how well it respects these lines. Yeah. So there you go, Kenji. I mean, like, you have to be so careful about these things. Like another one is the GAN fan or whatever it is. Like you guys know what I mean, right? It was a mathematician back in the turn of the century, I believe. And we're not talking about 2000. Oh, not the GAN fan, but just the GAN chart. God, where is it? I mean, you should see, like, yeah, it just all these lines. One of them's going to work. You know, this is the problem I have with fibs. You know, something's going to work, and you're going to make decisions based off of that. Heck, hey, more power to you if you found something that works for you. Go for it. I would just recommend that let's see if it. Yeah, it's this in here. Like, it's just crazy. Like, you know, something's going to hook up in here. It's all these angles in here, and yeah, this is kind of how I remember it here. Like all these angles that cross over and stuff, and like, and then price neatly and nicely goes into one of them, and it's like, see, I told you so. Uh, you know, now a lot of traders, you're laughing about that. A lot of traders look at Bookmap and think the same thing, but I just really argue about, because it looks so noisy, right? But what we're showing here is, I mean, this is how the market works. It just is. Like, it has to be. It's based off of orders. It's based off of the how traders are reacting. Like right now, there's more buyers up here. Well, we'll probably get a push a little higher into 750 here, right? Just above here. Okay? Now up there, we'll have to see. And this is that would be like a quick scalp. But I see buying pressure coming in. Okay, at a little higher high in here, right? And we know the liquidity is here though at 750. We also know that traders react off of 750, okay, or the 50 or the whole numbers. Okay, so now, well, we didn't get it. Okay, well, maybe we'll get a retest here. Let's see if the buyers come in. Okay, if they do, we can even look for taking a position in here, right? So a quick scalp or something. No, nothing, right? So sellers take it down, back down to the bottom of the range in here. To where? This liquidity here. So now let's see. Let's see if we see a reaction to some of this liquidity down here. Anyway, you get the idea. And understanding this, some of the price swings, and we know above and below price swings, traders react. And there's a lot of reaction. That's why high of day, low of day, same thing, just on much lower time frame here. Okay, so yeah, here starting to see a bit of buying come back in. Why not right back to the middle of the range in here? God, this is where I'd like to take VWAP off, right? Because I'm looking at this high volume node here, and if we get buyers back up above that high volume node, I'm looking for the other side of the range. Right? And that is fundamentally different than looking at like Fibonacci, some golden ratio. It's traders' reaction. Yeah. So here's another good GAN chart right here. Yeah, this is what I remember. This is an old one too. Looks like hand drawn. Might have been one of his original. Yeah, JMK, fooled by randomness. Well, exactly, and you know, we may always be. This is why it's really critical to be careful and vigilant with your trade criteria, and not to mess with it too. Like once you start to get your trade criteria, like what I was mentioning to Rob earlier, is you start to understand what you're looking for precisely. Don't add anything else in there to that study. Now, if you want to add in like, oh, you know what, I noticed that CVD, you know, does something, or like, you know, something else happens at that time when I'm, you know, trying to make a decision, you can study it, but I just would recommend that consider to do it as a separate study. Okay, keep your original study and make a new one. Okay, because like otherwise you might be adding in and you might screw up the one that you just came from, which was working just fine for you. Okay, so let's see, what do we have now here in the NASDAQ? All right, so we're still kind of range bound in here. Look at the buyers, look at the sellers within the range. Now, if we get a lot of sellers here, they should be able to hit though into 32, 30, and maybe 27. Okay, but I bet we're going to get a bit of a pullback here, right? Now, here, let's just take a position off of that, and we'll see. Okay, so because we came down here, everyone's looking for sellers to take it further, but we're going to get more of a range bound activity here. Now I'm going to take my profit up here though. Okay, so because I'm just looking for a pullback here, and I'm going to be pretty aggressive with my stop. I'm going to move it up, okay, because I'm still looking for this pullback in here, and I don't want to be run over if the pullback is over and then sellers start to come in. So I'll just limit my risk. Okay, so here, what do we have in our criteria? Well, high liquidity did trade. We see the volume here, but the reaction was a bounce. And then we're looking for a pullback because we know. And why are we looking for a pullback? Because we know, okay, there is high liquidity down below, sure. And we're still looking for that to trade. Okay, but we're looking for, on this small time frame in here, we have high liquidity, traded, buyers starting to come in, and then looking for it to retest back where these sellers came in and move this market, which is up here. And I'm just in front of that area here. Okay, almost got hit here, almost was filled here, and now let's see if we can get filled again, or see if we can get tested again up here, this little swing here. Okay, we also have a mean reversion. Now, why a mean reversion, or not? Shouldn't say mean reversion, but we have buyers and sellers in this range in here. So, and we're kind of at the bottom of the range in here. Got in a little late, but we're at the bottom of the range in here. But we're kind of anticipating some back and forth in here because we don't see, you know, we know there's more sellers driving it than buyers. Okay, but that's about it. Like it's pretty equal here. Well, I shouldn't say that. There, you can see it here. Look at it and make your criteria, your judgment here. A lot of sellers here. Okay, a lot of sellers here, a lot of sellers here. But what about buyers? Well, there's quite a few buyers too, right? So we know we're in a range bound environment. Okay, so we're making a decision based off of that. Now, you know, we got filled here, and now it's a small trade, a small scalp, but you guys get the idea. And now we've traded up here to the top of this small range. Okay, so now we've traded up here. So now let's see if we go with let's look at down here. Do we see a lot of sellers coming in? Well, not yet. Okay, we're still seeing buyers here take this higher. Okay, but we can start to look for though sellers to come back in at the top of this range. Okay, and then we can trade it back down. So let's see if we can take advantage of that, because we have high liquidity that got filled here. we're still kind of, the majority of the trades is still sell side. Okay, so we put a buy stop limit down here to take us into that trade, and good thing we did. It didn't come down here. Instead, we got buyers taking it higher. Okay, so we're going to just cancel that one then. JMK, I love that, the fooled by randomness. Yep, exactly. Like, and we're trying to make it less random in our criteria. Okay, so like I was telling or mentioning earlier with Rob and his trades in here, criteria, and then his grading of it, and he's actually grading the whole setup. He's grading entry, exit, and the whole setup overall, and then he's looking for the and then he's managing it at that time. Right, so here's our sellers, right? Here's a pullback. All right, so let's see if we can grab that. Right, because now we're at the top of this range. Now there's quite a few buyers in here though, right? But we still know there's sellers in here, right? So now where are we just looking for them to take it down? Well, maybe down to, well, overall we can look for a bigger move down to here, right? And I would look for right here managing some of that and taking some off right here, to be honest. But I only have one on. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to move my stop down, okay? And it'll be a small loss if I get hit. Okay, now back and forth in here, and you know, but the overall, you know, we're trending down now. Okay, so we're looking for this liquidity down here to be tested. Okay, we saw the sellers come in. We kind of, or we saw some selling in here. This is where we got in, and then we would have taken some off down here, but I've just got one on, so I'm going to keep it down by this high liquidity down here. All right, see how like we can start to look at the same ideas. If we saw more selling than, well, we did see a little more selling than buying, so we knew that this was kind of counter trend here. Now we're going kind of with the trend, okay, because we know there's more sellers than buyers. Okay, we can look at CVD to confirm that if you want. It's from this move. Well, hold on. Yeah, so here you can see clearly, like, you know, more sellers than buyers. Okay, look how the NASDAQ relates really well to liquidity. High liquidity here, filled, pullback. High liquidity here, filled, goes down. High liquidity in here, and it didn't fill it, but it definitely reacted off of it. Now they're starting to pull. Okay, so let's see if we get a skew in the order book here, and then we get our move that we're looking for. Okay, so far so good. All right, so here, maybe I should just be happy with this down here, because we're looking for, I'm just going to drag and drop it up there. Okay, so because we know that there's a reaction to liquidity, right? So we're just going to take our profit there. And there's the reaction that we're kind of anticipating. Now, I may have it, you know, I may have gotten filled down here. Okay? But this is how I decided to manage it. right? So you know, I was looking for this move and I wanted to reduce some of the risk here. Okay, and that's where it bounced around. Then we got our further move into this liquidity here, and let's see if we can get you know, continuation here on that sell side. Anyway, this is where the trade management comes in and criteria for that trade management. Okay, and we're following though our plan, high liquidity, and you know, get out of the trade. Okay, just a simple one. These are not trade recommendations. We are in sim, and this is not a trading room. This is an order flow reading room, but then putting it into practical use here, so you can understand how to manage the trade as well. That's really the key. That's why we're doing it, is because managing the trade is so critical, that a lot of traders in their education don't go over, right? And trading from Bookmap here, right on the chart, you can see all of my trade management decisions, all of them. It's a beautiful thing, looking at it in Bookmap. Why did I move my stops up or take profits? Why did I and when did I do it? Okay, when did I make that decision? This is how you can really refine your trade management. Okay, so here I made the decision. We made the decision, right? That I'm going to move my stop down here because here I'm looking for that move into here. And I can't manage. I only have one contract on, so I can't really do much in management except reduce my risk. So I move my stop down. Now, ultimately, was that a good decision or not? Well, it was in this case, but you know, maybe that's actually increasing your risk. Maybe you should keep your stop up higher and let this work itself out, because you know that, well, there might be a reaction here by buyers. If you see maybe a lot of buyers, then you can reconsider it. Once you start to move your stop down like this, it getting hit is a lot more probable. Just be careful with moving to break even. What we do in here is, because it's order flow, we're looking for the move to work immediately. Not all the time, but you know, a lot of the time, we say that if we get the move, it should work immediately. And all of this price action here, that in this drop here, took place in here. Okay, if there's move outside of that, then we'll be stopped out and we say we're wrong. Okay, now it might have gone a quick blip up above and then a quick move right back down below, and then we'd get stopped out, have a small loss, but we'd still be looking for something in here to tell us maybe to look for this continuation move, right? All right, so here we can see we made maybe a pretty good decision, okay? Because high liquidity here, it traded, it went down one more, but it did not come down to our area that we were holding off for here, okay, at this high liquidity down at 27.5. All right, guys. Well, anyway, just some considerations. Again, it's in simulated mode, so we can demo the trade management and trading from the Bookmap chart. It's key. Now, this is also, I've been talking about Robbed a lot. It's just it was really nice to see Robbed. You know, in the Bookmap Academy and the progression that he has made, it's really great. It's fantastic. So I wanted to mention one of the reasons, or one of the recommendations was to him, exactly is same to you, Kenji, is use replay mode. Go back and replay your data, record your data, and go back and trade it and play it and look for your criteria and your setup, and then play it again, and then play it again and again and again. Now, the best time to do this is when you are finished trading. The quicker, the better. So if you're trading for the entire day, then you know, at the end of the day, at 4 p.m. at East Coast time, go into replay mode and trade, because here's why. Because if you wait, you think, oh yeah, well, just use replay mode later. If you wait, this context in here that we're covering is going to be rather forgotten on the higher time frame. The data that you're looking for, the condition of the geopolitical environment, etc., that will be lost. So the best thing to do is trade in replay mode immediately. All right, so get in there and do it. And if you're trading live into a funded account, record your trades. You can add them onto the chart. It's a separate data stream that you add into your replay data stream. Yeah, Kenji, I don't know why you weren't in the academy earlier. It's been great. Just sign up and jump in and start throwing stuff in there. Yeah, and use this replay mode, guys. Really, I mean, then you can go over this and you can really refine it, like, and try to be honest with yourself. Try to be objective. This is so important. Like, would you have played it this way before? Now, like, for example, on Friday, I had a couple of losses. Okay, I had one winner, one loser, and then I took a trade at the end again, another loser. So we were down, like, I don't know, 87 bucks for the day, something like that. But if I went back and looked back at the loss, it's like, well, God, I would have done the same thing, and then that's okay. Just try to be objective about it and really get into the details. Like, this is my plan and this one didn't work. What can I learn from it? And then use that replay mode. Hit that replay mode and trade it. Make sure you trade it. It's so important. Caesar, you think you should show people that you can record the data? So yeah, Kenji, I mean, you can record your data in midstream. I didn't know about that. So if you didn't record your data, now you can start recording it? I was unaware of that. Okay. That's a new feature. Okay, I was not briefed about that. Anyway, I'll take a look into that. That's fantastic. So you can start recording right now, is what it sounds like. Okay. Okay, I'll take a look, Caesar. I don't quite understand, and I've never heard of this before, but it's great if you can. No, that's for exporting. That's for exporting. Yeah, you can export exactly what you want to from current time. Yeah. So yeah, export your feed right here. All right. If you didn't check the box when you first started Bookmap, though, in the run options, yeah, you might have to check that out. I'll have to take a look. Okay, that's great. It's a great feature. Yeah, that's kind of a hidden gem there, Caesar. Yep. Okay, let me look into it and we'll cover it tomorrow. I think we got to go. Tom B starts up here soon, so you might want to jump over to his stream. He goes over volume profile, and yeah, and his trades are order flow as well, based on a lot more kind of structure in terms of lines on a chart, as well as just some volume profile setups that are pretty well known. But then looking into them within Bookmap is the key. Okay, and then really putting those together. Initial balances and this kind of stuff is something in particular he really likes. So you might want to check some of that out. In my mind, like, we're looking at initial balances of the last 5 minutes, as well as balances of, like, the day or the hour, the 15-minute chart. Here's a balance in here. It's all about the volume and the range. Same concepts, right? Once you start to understand the concepts, then you don't have to be so specific and rigid in your thinking. You can, if you want to trade an initial balance, well, it wouldn't be an initial balance anymore. Look at other balances. Just look at balance areas, and then breakouts and breakdowns from those balance areas. This is an example right here. We just traded it. This is a balance area here. Okay, and we knew that there was more sellers than there were buyers in here. That's why we were looking more sell side. First trade we took, though, was counter, and we knew that, and we had our reasons for it. Then up here we're looking for a continuation, and we knew that, and we were looking for it. We got it. Now look what's happened. So that was our balance area in here, and we were making decisions off of that area into some of these swings, and then continuation in this one here. But here, look at this, guys. I mean, higher time frame stuff. Now, we didn't trade into that very high liquidity down below, but again, look how well NASDAQ reacts to high liquidity. High liquidity down here, boom. Now, we don't know yet in here. Okay, but once we get maybe back up above some of these areas in here, like POC, you start to see some of that volume climbing up in here, looking for that continuation, other side of the range, and maybe continuation to find high liquidity on the offer. Okay, some concepts, some ideas. Guys, if you like this, please hit the like button. Really helps us. Subscribe to the channel. Come over to the YouTube. I'm sorry, come over to the Bookmap channel. Yeah, JMK, I know you were creating all sorts of content for us. So, oh, okay. So it didn't work for you before. Okay. All right. I'll look into it and get further details. All right, guys. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, and then have a good rest of your day. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.